What is up guys, it's your boy Solem here, back with another classic WoW Season of Discovery video. At this point, we should be just about 24 hours away from the release of Season of Discovery at the time this video comes out, and I want to take a look at today a couple of classes or class fantasies that have kind of been forgotten. Because with Season of Discovery, we're getting a lot of new stuff, a bunch of classes are getting reworked slightly, we're getting class runes to alter the class abilities, shamans can tank, paladins can actually DPS this time around, rogues can tank, what else? Warlocks can tank, mages can heal, a bunch of classes can do brand new things, and also just classes can do things better. That being said, like a bunch of class fantasies have been filled out, mage healers for example have been in the lore for quite some time, battle mages, we haven't really seen those yet, but they have actually been in the lore as well. Rogue tanks kind of makes sense. That being said, there's at least 2, maybe 3 class fantasies that I would like to see in the game that I want to talk about today and kind of shed some light on, and then you can let me know if I'm going absolutely crazy, if I'm out of my mind, or maybe you agree with me on 1, 2 or all 3. So let's get into it. The first one that I want to talk about is the Smite Priest. Yeah, just having the ability to have a Smite Priest, literally there's one thing missing here, and that is something along the lines of Atonement. Now, I remember raiding back in, I think it was Mist of Pandaria, we had a priest, a Discipline Priest, who was basically Smite healing. He was Smite healing, he was dealing, he wasn't topping DPS by any means, he was DPSing, smiting, and healing at the same time, and it just looked so chill. It was like a different way of healing, very much like a mage healer right now in Season of Discovery, where you're putting beacons on people and then you're dealing damage with Arcane Blast. The same thing goes for Smite Priest, you put shield on people, get the Atonement buff, and then you heal people by casting Smite. So in this case, Atonement, Power Word, Shield, Shadow Mend, and Power Word Radiance apply Atonement to your target for 15 seconds. We could make one slight addition here for Classic WoW because we don't have Shadow Mend for example, so make it so Power Word, Shield, and Rejuvenation, or Renew in this case, so both of those two, they apply Atonement for 15, maybe even 20 seconds, right? Giving you some time to cast this on a bunch of people, then cast Smite, but let's just say 15 seconds for now, and then your spell damage heals all targets affected by Atonement for 55% of the damage done, and that is not split by the way. So let's just say you put Power Word Barrier, or Power Word Shield in this case, on 5 people. That would be 5 globals, or 5 seconds, of this 15 seconds. At that point you have 10 seconds left, and you can just cast Smites for 10 seconds. 10 seconds of just smiting, and you're healing people at the same time. So if your Smite hits a target for 1,000, 550 of that will be healed to every single player that has the debuff, or yeah, that has the Atonement buff in this case, right? And when the Atonement buff runs out, you just recast barriers or recast shields and get the Atonement back up. This also allows you to target certain players in the parties if you want to have it on both tanks, maybe 3 tanks in some scenarios. Maybe you always want to have it on the melee DPS, right? You can be assigned to heal a certain portion of the group, or you can even just have it on one person, even though I don't really know why you would, but it just gives you the ability to, while you're smiting, instead of just healing a random person, you have control over who you're healing while you're doing the same thing. And the thing is, we actually have some runes in this case for Season of Mastery that really, Season of Discovery, that really would play well with this. Like for example, we have the chest rune for Strength and Soul, or Strength of Soul. In this case it will reduce the timer left on the weakened soul, giving you more chance to apply more barriers or more shields in this case, and also giving you the ability to, even when you're shielding people, they still generate rage and they still get threat through Righteous Fury and stuff like that, right? So Strength and Soul in this case for Discipline Priest, and then either on the hands or the legs. Maybe on the hands, instead of having penance, you can have Atonement, right? That way, if you really just want to be a healer, you can still use penance and just be a regular Discipline Priest. Or if you want to be a Smite Priest, you can take Atonement instead of penance. That would be such a easy thing for them to do, and would just spice up the Priest class so much, giving a whole new playstyle, and I think Smite Priest just really works out well. It's a class that I have seen work in the past, and I don't know why they're not doing it. Now, that's enough for the priests. Let's talk about shamans. And I don't think I'm the only one here. I think quite a few people are on the same train. But what happened to two-handed shamans? Haven't that always been a class fantasy, even in vanilla WoW? Like, I know it was a big thing in TBC, I know it's still a big thing in Wrath, especially in PvP, where you just get big crits and you just one-shot people, and it's so much fun. And even in vanilla WoW, I've seen two-handed shamans, I've seen it work, but there's really not a spec for it. Even in Season of Discovery, like, the only runes we have right now, if I just go over to the shaman class calculator, talent calculator in this case, there's not really that many, there's no talents that really work in your favor if you're playing as a two-hander. The only one is two-handed axes and maces, allows you to use two-handers, but everything else is just like dual wield. Even Storm Strike, you need to have dual wield for. It requires weapons in this case, or having an offhand, and Lava Lash as well, right, requires an offhand, and you get a dual wield specialization as well. So yeah, there's just like nothing that really benefits you from being two-hander. Even right now, if you go over here, we have a dual wield specialization right here, so they're really appealing to the dual wield side of being enhancement. I don't know why they're not just giving you the chance of being both dual wield or two-hander, just giving you that choice, right? Shouldn't really be anything that stops them. The only thing they would have to do, and I'm going to give two suggestions here. Number one is an improved Lava Lash. In this case, I've just modified Lava Lash to work with two-handers, so take away the requires an offhand to use, and put it like this. Give you Lava Lash, have a talent, or in this case a rune called Improved Lava Lash, which makes it so Lava Lash can now be used while wielding two-handed weapons. Additionally, while wielding two-handed weapons, Lava Lash deals 150% weapon damage, increased by another 100% if your weapon is enchanted with Flame Tongue weapon. And also, Lava Lash will spread Flame Shock to your target, or the Flame Shock from your target to X amount of nearby targets, and increasing the damage of Flame Shock on its target by 100% for 20 seconds. Now, here's the thing. You usually want to have Wind Fury, but what I'm thinking about here is that Lava Lash, it deals 150% weapon damage, plus another 100%. So why I put that there is that maybe this would make it so you have, for example, for Retribution Paladins, you have the thing where they're swapping their seals. So for Shamans, you can swap enchantments to enchant your weapon with Flame Tongue, only for the Lava Lash, and then go back to Wind Fury, if you want to have that big Lava Lash, right? So you usually want to have Wind Fury, but when you're doing Lava Lash, you can swap over to Flame Tongue, increase. You're using some mana to do that, right? But it would be a DPS increase, if you have the mana for it, just adding some spice to the class itself. And additionally, you obviously want to have the ability to use Storm Strike, so if we can go back a little bit, we have this one right here, Improved Storm Strike. Just a very, very easy version of Improved Storm Strike, which makes it so Storm Strike can now be used while wielding a two-handed weapon, and when used with a two-handed weapon, it has a 100% chance to trigger Wind Fury weapon. This makes it so when you're using Storm Strike, because it is a nature/wind ability, it always triggers that weapon enchant, which also makes it so now you obviously want to have Wind Fury enchant when you're using Storm Strike. So you can juggle these back and forth. You want to have Wind Fury when using this one, and Flame Tongue when using this one. Just adding some flavor to the class, right? And making it so both abilities can be used while using two-handers. Just like, yeah, that's all you would have to do. And then make some talent points, or readjust some talent points, to give you additional damage, additional hit rating, haste rating, critical strike, you name it. Just those two would be the main runes you would have to put in, and now suddenly two-handed shamans are at least playable, and they suddenly work. Now, one more class that I'm going to be a little bit egoistic about, that is something that I really have wanted to see for quite a while, and that is kind of a Necromancer class. It's a build on Demonology, where Demonology would go from being a meme spec or a support spec to being more of actual demonology. Demonology. You're summoning demons, you're summoning undeads, basically building on that class, being a summoner. Instead of just summoning an imp or a succubus or something, you can summon skeletons. A certain server out there does this really well, where they have a class like this that looks like that. It's like a Necromancer class, and you're summoning skeletons, flesh worms, golems, you name it. All of the ghouls and all of the skeleton stuff you can summon. And some of the core abilities in this case on that server would be like this, where you have Entomb, bury your target alive, stunning them for 3 seconds, and this can even be cast while dead. Think about the PvP situations. If you die, you can still stun a target to help your team in open world PvP, battlegrounds, maybe even arenas if we ever get those, right? Could be really, really helpful, really useful. So even if you die, you're still helpful, and it makes sense to the class because you're like a Necromancer, right? You're summoning the dead. In this case, you can also do things from the dead. You also have Raise Flesh Golem, summoning a Flesh Golem to aid you in combat, and Flesh Golems have high health and can taunt. Summon Skeletal Archer, summons a Skeletal Archer to aid you in combat. The Archer will fire arrows on foes from afar, and multiple summoned skeletons may be active at once. Imagine if we even have like quest lines attached to this, where you get this in, for example, Western Plaguelands or Eastern Plaguelands, where you have to go through a quest line to get these runes, and now suddenly you can be a Necromancer, and you have to go through a quest line with summoning, with some Skeletal Archers to learn that one. Maybe you have Skeletal Warriors, Skeletal Mages as well, and for every single one you have to go through a specific quest line that makes sense lore-wise to that NPC. Same thing with Flesh Golems. We have a bunch of those both in Western Plaguelands and definitely Eastern Plaguelands, where we have a bunch of quest lines that could really work for this for future seasons, or even like Phase 2, Phase 3, Phase 4 of Season of Discovery, like level 60 runes, right? So for me, seeing a Necromancer type of class would be really, really fun, just building more on Demonology, because right now Demonology is kind of a leveling spec. If you're max level, you either go Affliction, Destruction, or a combo between the two. You don't really go on Demonology, especially for raiding, so I would like to see like something being done there to make it more viable. Either way, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit today. I feel like Blizzard is doing a really good job in Season of Discovery by giving us a bunch of new things, and then they will see if we like it, hate it. Basically just a season of us trying things out, and them listening to feedback and seeing how we respond to what they're doing. In this case, I really just feel like they missed a couple of classes, or a couple of like roles, I should say, or class fantasies that I really would like to see in the game, that hopefully, I'm just chiming in with my opinions here, right? So if you have any further class fantasies or something you would like to see in the game, then let me know in the comments down below, and try to be as detailed as possible, just in case anyone listens. Battle Mage, that's another one that I was considering putting into the video today, but I just didn't know how they would work. Would it be like a Fire Battle Mage, Arcane Battle Mage, even Frost Battle Mage? Maybe it's like a Battle Mage that could be all three, and you just pick your path. It's like a melee mage with like instant cast and stuff, right? Could be cool, just don't really know how it would work, but if anyone has any suggestions, let me know in the comments down below. And once again, that is pretty much what I have for you today. Hopefully you are as excited for Season of Discovery as I am. I will definitely be playing, and I'm even thinking about streaming the entire launch on this channel, both on YouTube and on Twitch. So yeah, if you want more content, subscribe down below, leave a like as well, leave a like. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you again very soon.